Hello, everyone. My name is Ingrid Moisil, and I am a Collections Strategy Librarian at the University of Ottawa. And I have uh, a bachelor in anthropology. And while I was doing my bachelor in anthropology, you have different methods to collect data. And at that time, I was sensitized to the fact that when you are doing research um, and you're trying to find participants, it's not that easy. It's not that people are not really coming forward, and it's actually quite difficult, especially when you're a student. So um, I've started. I've started volunteering for as a participant for different um, for interviews, for focus groups, and for surveys, because we all do surveys. Surveys, pretty much every single day we have a survey or that comes our way. Um, and because I am a person who is very critical of things, I try to learn as much as possible and to not get frustrated when I am responding to a survey. So this this presentation is coming from from a person who wants to make surveys better um, and has done surveys, and on the other hand is frustrated with surveys that are done by really great companies. So when there are companies that do that, that do surveys, that's their job. They have been trained in doing that. And my presentation today is from the point of view of a librarian. So I don't have um, any formal training, but I've done several surveys. And as I said, I am taking surveys all the time. So I'm going to share my screen and start. Okay, so to survey or not a survey, and other stories, where there are going to be stories along the way. So because it's a survey, um, theme, let's start first with a small survey. No, I'm just joking. So the agenda is survey as a data collecting tool. I will talk a little bit about the questionnaire, the deployment of the survey, data analysis and reports, and then at the end we'll have questions, and we have a lot of time to discuss different issues that you might want to discuss. So the survey is a data collection tool. So I pulled a definition from the Oxford English Dictionary, and also one from the Grand Dictionnaire Terminologique pour mes collègues francophones. So what is a survey? So it's a systematic collection and analysis of data relating to attitudes, living conditions, opinions, etc., of a population, usually taken from a representative sample of the latter. So now that we all know what a survey is, we can start looking, when is it actually good to have a survey, or what to think when we have a survey as a data collection tool. So everything starts with the objectives. What are the research questions? What are the research questions? What is the objective of my data collection? Do I want to talk with people, but they are all over the world? Do I want to gather stuff, to gather information, but someone is working in the morning and someone is working in the evening? What are my do I want to observe something? Then I move to a survey. Do I want to ask questions that are quick and I don't have that, and I want like quick answers? Or do I want something that is much more into detail? Do I want to go into detail? So the survey is a good data collection tool if it's response to our research questions. The data that I'm going to collect is quantitative. So it's easy it's easy to manage, or easier to manage. It's easy to categorize. It's easy to visualize than another ones. But it's quantitative data. There can be very little qualitative data in it, but it's quantitative. So if my objective is to have some quantitative data survey, it's going to be. If I'm going to more into qualitative data, then it's another tool that I need to retain, to use. There are also limited resources. The limited resource can be time. I will need to collect the data in a short time. I don't have anyone who is trained to do interviews. I don't have people that can analyze a qualitative data. I don't have time. So it's time, it's people, it's expertise. So, you know, so you know, if all these resources are limited, survey is going to do better than nothing. It's going to be a better tool than nothing. And when I'm talking about limited resources, we're going to go to see that the survey is not a good survey is not a quick and dirty tool. It still needs a lot of thought and a lot of time, but it's going to be less time than a qualitative data collecting tool. So a survey reaches a large population. It can be in a wide geographical coverage, Canada and US, the world. It's convenient for responders. They can respond to the survey, and whenever they want to, before going to sleep, while they are eating their lunch. Not that this is something that I would recommend, but they can respond easily to it whenever it's convenient for them. There is no need to have a meeting, to schedule that, to find the best time to do that. It's really convenient for them and convenient for the people who are asking the questions. The data is easily analyzed. You have the survey, you have the responses. A lot of the survey tools will send the responses in Excel form. It's easy. But there are also drawbacks. So what are the drawbacks? It's a lack of depth. You ask a question, response, you can't ask a second question after that, depending on the response. You can't go into detail. There's a limited engagement from the responders. They get an email, or you can, I'm talking about mostly about surveys that are done online, but you can do survey in person. And like there, hey, can you respond to my survey? Nope. So they just pass you. So it's a really limited engagement from responders. And if the survey is a little bit too long, then people really have to be wanting to respond to your survey. So there are many, they can really abandon after a while or not respond properly. There's a low response rate. So, how many people are going to receive the email and delete it? How many people are going um, to not participate? So let's start and talk a little bit about the questionnaire. So the questionnaire is when we think about surveys, we think about the questionnaire. It's not only that, it's much more. But we think survey equals questionnaire. Well, maybe not us, but most of the people, when they think about survey, it's about the questionnaire. So how are we going to build the questionnaire? So one of the questionnaire is we have to go back to the research questions. What are we researching? What do we want to get from the research? That's how we're going to build our questionnaire. I would say go first and review literature, because that's how we are doing the research question. And when we review the literature, we are going to find examples of questionnaires if we are lucky. And we sometimes are lucky, or we can also ask the researchers if they can share with the questionnaire with us. A good questionnaire is really grounded in the literature and in the research question. Because if we're going to ask question just because this is how it's asked, then we're not going to get great answers. And when we go and read the literature and look at examples of questionnaires, there sometimes some of them are um, validated um, um, by the researchers, some type of questions. That they can be reliable, and the way they are asked, that will help you. So even if it's not necessarily a questionnaire about your research question, but it's an example of a question that you might steal, or you might say, oh, I really don't know how I would answer to this one. It's not what I would like. So, example of questionnaires are always good for if they are good, and also saying, no, I won't ask this question, or I won't ask a question this way. So going to the questionnaires, we can have closed-ended and open questions. The closed-ended questions, they are lovely, you get the data, but they are not always helpful. Because when you are writing the closed-end questions, you imagine all the possible answers. Sometimes you don't imagine all the possible answers. And that's why if you leave an open question, you can get more. or I like a lot after I ask closed-ended questions to add a comment. So if all my options that I gave in a closed-ended question are not the ones that are the most uh, helpful for the respondent, then they can put the free text in the comment. Of course, that takes more time for the analysis, but I want to give people that option. Some questions are required and some questions are optional. The more you leave options to answer, the more people, there is a risk that people that are not super engaged, that they're not going to answer, and then you have then you can get errors from your survey. So you won't get the true or the right the right answer. Your survey might be the responses might contain error, wouldn't be necessarily a good answer, a reliable one. So, but if everything is required and some of them are not applicable, then you are like, oh, do I really want to respond? How am I going to respond? I'm going to just say yes. I'm going to say no, just because I don't really care about this survey. So there is also always a balance between what should be required or not. We have the Likert scale, the questions that you decide, um, um, from positive to negative. The Likert scales that they should be um, balanced, have as many um, positive as many negatives, for and a neutral. So, and also you don't want to have too many, like, oh, can you rate from a scale from 1 to 9, from 1 to 10? Like probably 5 to 7 would be enough. And it's also how you are going to interpret that. If I have too many options, like, not at all, yeah, a little bit, neutral, highly, clearly, too many, are you going to really interpret them all? Are they too close to each other? If I say often, sometimes, never, well, and of course, the Likert scale should be really a scale, not not all over the place, as I have just said. So, you go from never, sometimes, often. Um, is it often? Is it sometimes? I don't know. That's where you go back and look at the different questionnaire examples. How did they do that? How did they write that? So you write it well too. So the question, they should have a clear flow, like a flow where you don't jump from one question to the other. You have a theme, it should go nicely. Also, when you have a flow of questions, try that one question doesn't influence the response of the following question. That's something that needs to be taken into consideration. That the if a question can one question can influence the answer of the second one. So try not to do that. So yeah, no leading questions. It's lovely to have a survey and get responses that you want to have, but that's not right. So no leading questions, please. Caution with binaries. So is today Friday? Yes or no? Well, if I'm in a different time zone, it might not be Friday, but I can say no. Another case is, do you feel great? I can say yes, no, and well, not really. So depends. Like I would be really cautious with binaries. So I said in some cases, yes, you have. Is it Friday? Yes, no, because I'm in a different time zone. But other times it's really it's you have in mind the response that you would give yes or no, but somebody else would give a different response. It might. The question should be pertinent to your research question. So don't ask questions that you're not going to use in your analysis or that don't have any link to your to your um, to your research question. Are you going to use that? Ask yourself, are you going to use that information? Okay, and then we can talk about reliability and validity. So when you can replicate a question, a survey again and again, it's a reliability, and I'm not able to pronounce it properly. And validity, it's really it's anchored in the reality. So don't ask questions that are not going to be reliable, and don't ask questions that are not going to be valid, because people might make up responses, and it's not going to help you. So, as I mentioned before, leave space for comments. Yes, you're not always capturing everything in questions. At the end, leave space for comments. Sometimes people have comments. I sometimes put in the comments if I'm very unhappy about a survey. This is a bad survey. Yes, I've done that. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. After a certain age, you shouldn't be sorry for your for your opinions. It's my opinion that this survey is bad because you asked questions that I was not able to answer, not because I was not able to answer them, but because you didn't offer me enough options to answer. Translation. So if you have to do the survey in both in English or in French, as it is the case at the University of Ottawa, you think the survey in one language, you think it's wonderful, and then you translate it, and then you have to make sure that the translation actually is going to the survey is going to ask the same things as you ask in English. So there are nuances there. Does it convey really the same thing that you wanted to ask in English, also in French? And the most important thing when you finish a questionnaire is to pre-test it. So you sometimes need to show it, or you show your questionnaire to your colleagues, and people are giving feedback and blah blah. But it's important to pre-test it, having in mind the responses. So it just happened to me a few months ago. A colleague had shown us a questionnaire and asked us for feedback, and I looked and explained how to do it and asked for feedback, and I quickly looked over it and said, "Oh yeah, it's perfect." And then I got it to answer, and then I started answering. I was like, "Why did I say it was perfect? Because I at this question I can't respond A or B. I want to do C, and I have no way to respond C because C is not there." So pre-test it with the idea of I'm going to respond to these questions, and maybe they're not. Maybe there is something to adjust, and depending on who do you want to send this survey. Maybe you have a small group well, of potential respondents that are you're going to pre-test it. Okay, so survey tools. There are different survey tools, and I'm not going really to talk about them because the next community call, it's going to be about the different survey tools. So I'm just going to say that, well, keep an eye on the next invite. Okay, research ethics board. So the research ethics, some surveys you have to go to the research ethics board to obtain a permission, and other surveys you don't. It's good to make to not. It's good to, even if you don't have to simulate, to go through the exercise of what the research ethics board wants from you, because it's very structured. They have everything structured and all the questions that you actually have to answer, and then will help you in deployment of the survey, and it will help you with the privacy and the privacy and the confidentiality that you have to respect when you are doing a survey. So it might be the consent form that might help you. They might have templates for the consent form. It might help you with the data management plan. Think about the data management plan. How long are you going to keep the answers? How are you going um, to do the anonym, okay, I'm not able to pronounce this word, uh, to anonymize the, okay, to take the personal data out of the data. So it's always good to, even if the research ethics board does not, you don't have to do it for your survey, to simulate it, to have to fill everything up, and because this one will help you to do your work later. Okay, so we go to the deployment. Who are we going to study? Well, you could be the whole population of your target population. It can be a sample. It can be the sample that it's based on certain criteria. It's random, or it can be the sample that I love the most. You know, all librarians are part of different discussion list of different listservs, and you get from time to time an invitation to this survey. So it's really uh, going fishing. Like, okay, these are the librarians that might be interested, that I am able to access them, and maybe I'm going to get any information from them. Um, yeah, it's not a great way to sample, but sometimes it's the only one that we have at our disposition. Um, so sometimes when we get lists of, or sometimes, often, always, when you get email address lists, um, some of them are not working anymore. You think that you are sampling, or you are having a sample of graduate students, but some of them are also um, part-time professors, or some of them have graduated, or some of them are from undergrad to grad. Is your information still accurate? Like timing. What is the timing of my deployment? So usually you are not the only person working on the survey. You have somebody who is maybe helping with data analysis. You have to coordinate with that person. Are you both available at the same time to do the survey? Are you able to um, analyze the data after you did the survey? There's also the broader organizational climate. Does your survey need to be approved by somebody, by your supervisor, by the university librarian, by somebody at the institute, the university is there. There might be research integrity, research planning. I think I forgot how institutional research planning group, or somebody um, who is in charge of surveying at the university. So do they have to approve it? Sometimes it's good that they have to approve it, because they can look at whatever you prepared, and they can actually comment and help you with um, having a good survey and a good deployment. What are the favorable periods? Oh, so if you want to survey professors, maybe May to August is not the best time. If you want to survey undergrads, maybe May to August is not the best time. Are other people, other departments, other department in the library, are other departments in the university surveying students at the same time? Are they going to get invitations from 2, 3 different departments? Will they just say, "Oh, go! I don't want that." How long is the survey going to be? A week, 2 weeks, too long, too short? Reminders. Okay, going to send reminders. Should I send the reminders every so often? After a week? After 10 days? Never? Once? Twice? 3 times? So all this timing has to be decided ahead of time. So invitation. So the invitation has to be clear and cover all the different aspects, like goals, the privacy, deadlines, feedback, reminders, how to unsubscribe if you want to unsubscribe. It should be personalized by category of participants. So you're not going to invite a professor the same way you're going to invite a student. Or as I got an invitation, it said, you are invited to participate in the survey because you have received a grant by not applicable. Okay, so did I actually participate to that survey? No, there was nothing to invite me. They should have had a separate invitation for the people that did not, they wanted to survey, but they did not get any grants. So, and it has to be a short and sweet invitation. If it's too long, who is going to even go over it? Incentives. So sometimes, often, we are thinking of offering an incentive so people are going to respond. So the idea of incentives is you raise the response rate. It depends on the target population. As I said, maybe professors don't need an incentive. Maybe they're going to be unhappy if you offer them an incentive. Students, probably they will need that. What is the nature of incentive? Is it going to be a Starbucks card? Is it going to be gift card from Amazon? Oh God, I do not like Amazon. I try never to buy from Amazon. So, what is the nature of the incentive? What's the budget? Are there any conditions? Do you actually have to finish the survey, or is it going to be everyone who starts the survey? There might be specific conditions for Quebec residents, and this is something to double check because if you look at Canada-wide draws, there are special conditions for Quebec residents, what they can get or not in a draw. The software for the draw. Because when the first time I did that, I was like, okay, and then I had like, oh my God, I have to find a way to 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 um, to go with to draw the people. And another thing that if you have a draw, if you enter them in a draw, what I really think it's important is to sever the link between the questionnaire and the draw. So collecting the emails for the draw should be totally severed from the questionnaire. Should really pay attention that they're two different things, and you cannot link them together. Communication. So communication is the key to success. Key to receive responses, to receive good responses, to make people excited. Okay, I'm using the word excited that I want not to be part of my vocabulary, but make them excited to participate in your uh, in your um, in your survey because they might actually want to respond. They might have they might really want to help you out. A good communication. Tell them why you are doing this survey. Allow feedback. And if you allow feedback, have a mechanism in place where to monitor where all these questions are coming and how you're going to answer them. And if you need to talk with your colleagues to share the questions, um, your colleagues or to the directors, have all that in place. Bounce back messages, how are you going to deal with them? Are you just going to say, oh, too bad? And how are you going to address complaints? And how are you going to address compliments? These, you have to think about that ahead of time. You might not get anything, and you have thought about it for nothing. Well, not for nothing. It's for the next survey that you're going to do. So we got to the data analysis. So as I've been saying all over again and again, keep in mind the research questions. So you have your research questions, you have a wealth of data, and you can easily decide, oh, maybe, look, I got all these responses. No, you have in your research questions, you have limited time, you have to come up with a data analysis. Maybe, and the something is going to, if you have time, maybe you'll have time to go back to it. But keep in mind the research questions. You have to, and okay, so I have the word here. Will I be able to pronounce it? I don't know. So anonymization of, so no personal data, in your data. You have to clean the data. You would think that, well, especially if you have any open-ended questions, you also have to code the data. If you have open-ended questions, you might decide not to. You might decide that actually there's too little to code and don't need the coding, or you might really need to sit down and say, oh my God, what did I get myself into, and do the data coding. Or or you can say, okay, well, my research question has been answered, and this is something that um, I will I will leave for next time. And when you are selecting the tools, select the tool that you are really familiar with. Unless you actually have put into your, if you have built in to your data analysis the time to learn a new tool, don't do that. So, you get a lot of, you asked a few open-ended questions. You have all the data that needs to be coded. Oh, let's use in vivo because this is fun. Never used in vivo? No, you're not going to start learning in vivo now. Maybe for next time, ahead of time. Let's do something that you are really familiar with. And the reports. So one size does not fit all. There is a report you might want to do um, for your managers. There is another report you might want to do for the responders, because responders usually, well, depending on what you ask, but usually they want to know what happened after they responded to a survey. You might be doing a presentation. You might write an article. So the reports are not the same. You have to tailor it to to the audience, and the format will also be depending on the audience and on what you want to convey. And then, and I've learned that the, the hard way. When you think everything is done, oh yeah, I have to actually translate. Put think about the translation if you need to translate it. Think about the translation, the time and the money that will take. And this is all good to think about in the beginning, not towards the end, as sometimes happened to me. Okay. So one of the things I have not talked about are the errors. There can be errors at any single point in this present in that we've covered. It can be errors in the sampling, in the questionnaire. It can be the survey tool might not work well. It can be errors everywhere. And what we try to do is to minimize them. Um, we'll have to live with some of them, but we don't have to have huge errors. But they can be. So that's why we try to make a great um, um, survey. We want to plan everything well, so the number of errors is very small. And there is a wealth of readings at your library. I don't know if you've done that, but when I've started doing surveys, I did not read anything. But there are quite a lot of books and articles of how to do a survey, what not to do in a survey, how to do this, how to do that. And I'm quite sure that your library has books, ebooks, in print, videos, and you can learn a lot on your own too. So, any questions? And you can contact me at Ingrid Moisil at uottawa.ca.